Greetings and welcome to this first entry in a new video series showcasing various interesting and influential FOSS games, FOSS standing for Free and Open Source Software. So this is the Golden Drake Studios FOSS Gaming Extravaganza, and we'll be starting with some terminal-based games, hence this kind of depiction of an old-school monitor that you see before you. This is a program called Cool Retro Terminal, which is a doubly apt name, as the acronym is CRT, like cathode ray tube. So Cool Retro Terminal is a fun way to experience a lot of old terminal-based programs. Anyway, we're also going to be starting with roguelikes in this series, so what better way to begin than with Rogue, released in 1980 with subtitle Exploring the Dungeons of Doom. This is the game that launched an entire subgenre of RPGs. And before we get started, we've got to make sure we have Rogue installed. So if you're using Golden Drake Linux or any other Arch-based Linux environment, you will need to find Rogue in the AUR, or Arch User Repository. So you'll need an AUR helper such as yay, that's the one I'm using. So I will type yay-s rogue. So now that Rogue's installed, we can launch it by typing Rogue. So here we are. It's a nice little text-based environment, and this game does not have any music or sound effects. So I have added some of my own background music. Bonus points if you can tell me down below what game this music is from. And who knows, I might even add a few sound effects. And many of you are probably familiar with this type of game, but you'll see that the little @ symbol there, that is my character, and we have depictions of walls and floors for the rooms. We have the pound sign used for these tunnels, the plus sign for doors. It's a very interesting game. Okay, we have a closed bracket symbol there, and that is some leather armor. Now we can hit the I key to see our current inventory. We have some food, some enchanted ring mail, leather armor, an enchanted mace and short bow, and some arrows. Okay, now this game has, in addition to kind of old school graphics, shall we say, it also has old school controls. You can hit the question mark to get some help. And it's asking, well, what character do you want help for? You can hit the asterisk to see everything. And so here they are. They can be a bit cryptic. They definitely take some getting used to, but it's not too bad. If you're willing to give this a little bit of a chance, give it a little bit of time, you can find that Rogue and some of these other similar terminal-based roguelikes can be a lot of fun. But they are all a little bit different, so if you're used to the controls in one roguelike, it may not translate 100% into a different roguelike, okay? But here's what the controls were for the original Rogue. Now, you see some interesting controls for moving up, down, left, and right. Uses JK for up and down, H and L for left and right. That is kind of following the movement style of an editor called VI, or Vim, as it's more commonly known now in its improved version. Now, if you don't want to use those controls, that's fine. You typically should be able to use a numpad, or the arrow keys, but a numpad is nice because then you also get those convenient diagonal directions. Anyway, let's go ahead and proceed through a little more of this dungeon. And as I go along, I will demonstrate some of the things you can do. And perhaps we'll talk a little bit about the history of this game. Ooh, we've encountered our first enemy. That is a uppercase K. All the enemies are uppercase letters. This is a kestrel, a type of small falcon. I swing and hit the kestrel. I have defeated the kestrel. Now this % sign is a staircase leading downwards. This asterisk over here is a pile of gold, 22 gold pieces. So before we descend deeper, because once you descend you can't come back up, let's go ahead and explore a little bit more of this dungeon. One of the main points... Oh, we just defeated an emu. One of the main points of this game is to earn points, and the main form of points is gold. We just picked up a scroll titled Zimala Ip Zirzedu Tab. Okay, well we can read that scroll. It's an identify weapon scroll. Which object do you want to identify? Press star or asterisk for a list. Well, these things are already identified, but the silly game is going to complain if we try to hit escape to cancel out. It says you must identify something, so it seems we have to choose something. Let's choose our arrows, why not? Okay, it tells us what we already know about the arrows, no problem. Oh, now we found a potion, a brown potion. Let us hit the letter Q for quaff to drink this potion. Ooh, it looks like it's revealed the location of enemies. What do we want to call this potion? We'll call it Sight. Sometimes it lets you name potions and scrolls. We can see that capital B, which I think is a bat. It's trying to pursue us perhaps a little bit. Oh, our sight wore off. We can hit the period to rest and let that hobgoblin come closer. I can hit the letter F, and then in the direction of the hobgoblin, press the arrow key, and by hitting the letter F, that means fight to the death. We have defeated the hobgoblin. Now, if we didn't hit the F key to fight to the death, we would have to hit the left direction key several times to finish the fight. I'll show you an example here. So if we fight this bat, well, okay, we defeated that one in one hit. But if it takes several hits, that can get a little bit tedious. So the F key, ooh, we have another bat. We missed it. We didn't hit, the bat scored an excellent hit on you. So here's a good example of how you have to go through several series of these messages. You swing and hit the bat. You scored an excellent hit on the bat, you've defeated the bat. So yeah, there could be a long series of messages in combat sometimes. So if you want to kind of fast forward through that, you can use the F key. Oh, an emu. The emu hit us. Emu hit us. Oh my. So I'm going to hit the F key and down, and we have defeated the emu in fast forward mode. Now if we look down below at the bottom of the screen, we see level 1. That's referring to the level of the dungeon, not the level of our character. Gold 40, HP 18 out of a possible total of 22. Now it just increased to 19. Every few turns we will restore some health, and so we can hit the period key to rest for a while if we want to let it might take several turns, but yeah, see, there we go. Now we're up to 20 HP, and the one danger of waiting a whole lot is we might get hungry too, but we do have some food for now, so we can eat again if we get hungry. And we have strength of 16 out of a current maximum of 16, and an armor rating of 4. Then we have our experience points, as well as our experience level. So I believe the 2 is saying that we are a level 2 character, and 11. That's referring to how many experience points we currently have in progress toward our next level. So we defeated another emu. Don't ask me why there are emus in this dungeon. There are many mysteries to this place, these dungeons of doom. Oh my, we have another hobgoblin. Okay, we're down to 14 HP due to these battles we've been fighting. Let's go ahead and descend here. And you descend by using the greater than key. The less than key ascends, but you can't really use that until you've gotten all the way down to the bottom to collect the Amulet of Yendor. That is the goal of this game. And you may have also noticed that this game did not provide any real flavor text as we began, but the creators of the game did provide some that I'll read for you a little bit later. But first we have another mysterious scroll. Let's go ahead and read it. Your armor glows silver for a moment. Interesting. What do I want to call it? silver enchantment, I guess. So, for the next minute or so, I'll go ahead and read from an article called A Guide to the Dungeons of Doom, written by a couple of the people who were responsible for creating Rogue, and that provides a little introduction to the very simple story, such as it is, for this game and the background of your character. You have just finished your years as a student at the local Fighters Guild. After much practice and sweat, you have finally completed your training and are ready to embark upon a perilous adventure. As a test of your skills, the local guildmasters have sent you into the Dungeons of Doom. Your task is to return with the Amulet of Yendor. Your reward for the completion of this task will be a full membership in the local guild. In addition, you are allowed to keep all the loot you bring back from the dungeons. In preparation for your journey, you are given an enchanted mace, a bow, and a quiver of arrows taken from a dragon's hoard in the far-off dark mountains. You are also outfitted with elf-crafted armor and given enough food to reach the dungeons. You say goodbye to family and friends for what may be the last time, and head up the road. You set out on your way to the dungeons, and after several days of uneventful travel, you see the ancient ruins that mark the entrance to the Dungeons of Doom. It is late at night, so you make camp at the entrance and spend the night sleeping under the open skies. In the morning, you gather your weapons, put on your armor, eat what is almost your last food, and enter the dungeons. So, not too shabby, eh? It's pretty simple, but effective at letting you know kind of the point of the game, the simple background of your character and their motivations. And that document I will also have linked in the description below. It's a nice little PDF file that also details the controls and some of the options available to you when you play this. They do have a save file option, and maybe I'll show that for you right now. So if we type capital S, it offers to give us a save file in our home directory named rogue.save. We'll go ahead and go with that. And as we can see here, here in our home directory, we now have a rogue.save and rogue.scr. The scr, that stands for score. So that is for keeping track of what scores you've earned through different playthroughs. In other words, how much gold you earned. That's the main source of your score. And that will be revealed after you completely quit a playthrough with a character, which is different than saving. Saving does not count as quitting. But if you quit a character, or if a character dies, death is permanent and quitting is permanent too. So once you've done either of those things, it will reveal a score. The score is slightly reduced if you die. It's reduced by 10%, I believe. So if you really care about that score, then sometimes it's advantageous to quit before something kills you. But then again, if you manage to defeat them, you might continue leveling up and increasing your score even more. And, you know, if you're like me, I don't even care that much about points. I care more about trying to complete the game, trying to get down all the way to the bottom to that Amulet of Yendor. But anyway, if we want to jump back into the game, we'll type rogue, and then the name of the save file. And that save file has actually just now been deleted because they wanted death to be permanent, so they didn't want to allow you to save scum, so to speak, to continue reverting back to a saved game to attempt to defeat a certain enemy multiple times. So permanent death, or permadeath, and procedural generation of levels and other game features, these are some of the key traits of any roguelike. We defeated a snake, gotten quite a bit of gold at this point, defeated a bat. We have quite some extensive caverns here, my goodness. Wow. Now you can type the lowercase s key now and then if if you want to search for traps and secret doors. It's not guaranteed that you'll always discover them if there are any traps or secret doors adjacent to your character, but you do have a good chance of finding them. But again, yeah, there might be cases where you need to search multiple times to find what's around you, so that might be a little bit frustrating. I can't deny that there are some aspects of this game that might detract from the fun for some players, but traps and secret doors aren't too terribly common. They might get more common the deeper you go. We'll see. We picked up 13 shurikens. That's cool. And we already see the doors, or not the doors, the stairway down to a lower level. Let's search here a little bit more. We'll leave that kestrel alone. As you may have noticed earlier, enemies do not always pursue you. In other words, really I should just call these creatures or denizens of the dungeon. They are not always necessarily enemies. See there, I passed an ice monster, that's what the capital I stands for, and even as I passed it by, it did not bother attacking me. But this snake here, it seems interested in me, so better get rid of that. And let's see, ooh, emu. What is up with these emus? We have reached level 4. Oh, we're hungry. I see a status of hungry down there. So we'll type E to eat. A for our food. Yum, that tasted good. Okay. So we're in good shape. If you get too hungry, you may faint. A turquoise potion. And some food. Excellent. Let's check our inventory right now. Let's go ahead and, well, let's see. We'll hold off on trying that potion. Some potions could actually harm you, and also some arms and armor may be cursed, so keep that in mind. If you wear cursed armor, or wield a cursed weapon, you will not be able to remove that armor or weapon, and the same goes for cursed rings. There are sometimes rings to be found in this game. They may have beneficial effects or harmful effects, much like rings in the world of J.R.R. Tolkien and the Lord of the Rings. Now, this game was largely inspired by Dungeons & Dragons, and of course in turn by the world of Tolkien. Its text-based style and overall design were also in some ways a little bit inspired by such early text-based games as Star Trek and Colossal Cave Adventure. Ooh, here we have a room which has much less light. Maybe it doesn't have any lit torches, and so we can only see a very tiny amount around us. In this game, it's also possible to be blinded. I think I once got blinded by a potion I drank in a previous playthrough. So, if you ever get blinded, you can't even see this much as you walk around. It's pretty debilitating to the game experience, I have to say. But you can still potentially survive for a while, and maybe even find a cure. I'm not certain of that, but I assume there are some potions or scrolls that could cure those kinds of ailments. Now, what do we have here? An orc, which we defeated. Now we have a tangerine potion. The colors for different types of potions and the text for different kinds of scrolls is procedurally generated, so it will be different every time you play, just like the layout of the dungeon will be different every time you play. So that helps to make things more interesting and challenging and allow for more replayability. Greetings, orc. Are you going for the gold? Ooh, the orc has covered the gold pile. Well, let's take care of that orc, get the gold, move on. So it's a pretty fun dungeon delving experience. This is one of my better playthroughs, I have to say, because depending on how lucky or unlucky you are, you might find yourself dying on the very first level of the dungeon. There's definitely a lot of luck in terms of the dice rolls in combat and so forth, especially early on. But also, whoops, as you get deeper, you will of course be facing more dangerous enemies. And I must confess, I have never managed to get all the way down to the bottom to the Amulet of Yendor. Perhaps today will be my lucky day. Although I think that might require getting to level 100, so I'm not sure that this video will continue that long. But we'll see. I'll probably I'll try to continue until I die. I think I was assuming that I would die relatively quickly, that I might even go through multiple deaths in this video, but so far my luck is pretty good. Interesting that some of these hallways seem to be dead ends. I'm searching but don't see any secret doors. Not so far anyway. Please tell me in the comments down below what thoughts you have about Rogue and other roguelikes that you may have played. Do you have a favorite roguelike? Do you like these text-based, terminal-based roguelikes, or do you prefer the ones that actually have graphics? Yeah, sometimes that's a matter of taste, sometimes that's a matter of what is nostalgic for you, you know, what kinds of experiences you're used to. Ooh, I think I'm uncovering some secret doors in this tunnel. The pathway was not revealed until I hit the S key. Very cool. Oh. Gold pieces. Alright. Defeated a bat. I'm doing pretty well right now. I'm going to search for some more secret doors. Don't see any so far. We have not encountered any traps so far in this playthrough. I'm grateful for that, because I usually don't do a lot of careful searching. I assume traps might become more numerous the deeper you go. And here we are in a very dark place. I'm doing some searching as I go to watch for traps. Ooh, another emu. Dangerous, dangerous emus. Oh, there's the stairway down. The light in here suddenly seems red. Oh, that's a trap. I just stepped on it multiple times. Silly me. I hope I have not been, you know, it doesn't seem like I got injured, but it may have given me some kind of negative status effect. Let's go ahead and go down. 2 rations of food. A scroll. Save the scrolls and potions for when we're desperate. Secret door. More scrolls. I think you'll find, even if you're not used to text-based games, that this game, or any game like this, it really can be deeply immersive, despite the lack of real graphics, as we might say. Immersion is often a matter of allowing yourself to be taken into the world of the game and to just absorb the experience that it provides. And, you know, once you get into this game or any other game, it starts to be kind of real for you. So you don't just think of it as just simple ASCII characters anymore. You know, if you were to see a capital T for a troll, you just kind of see it as a troll, you know? And it can be kind of scary to see that capital T walking toward you. Now, let's see, I'm not sure which way to go now. Oh, here, I found a secret door within the tunnel. Defeated yet another emu. Well, as I was saying earlier, I think they used all the letters A through Z, the enemies. So I imagine the emu was picked just because they came to the letter E and knew they had to pick something. I guess I could have gone with the etin. That would be a tougher enemy. They wanted to have some that are kind of weaker as well, like the bat and the snake. And I guess they decided it would be fun to add an emu as another lesser enemy. Let's see what else is in this room. Huh. Oh, a secret door. And another one. Now, I don't think we found a way down yet. Getting hungry. So we have food located at letter I. So we'll eat I. Yuck, this food tastes awful, but oh well. Oh, by the way, as you may have noticed in that introduction, they refer to our character as basically being a fighter, not as a rogue. Now, why was this game named Rogue? It's not because the character is meant to be of that class. Rather, the idea was that your character is kind of going rogue, so to speak. They are adventuring solo. So that's kind of a roguish experience, I guess you could say, or a going rogue experience. So that was the inspiration behind that. They also, of course, liked the idea of having a name that was short and punchy, easy to type into a text prompt to get the game launched. As for the subtitle, Exploring the Dungeons of Doom, of course, that might be a tiny bit cheesy, but I'm okay with cheesy. Sometimes the word doom really just means fate. That's how it was often used by Tolkien, such as Mount Doom. We thought of Mountain of Fate. Now, of course, it often implies a negative fate, especially in modern usage. But it could also mean fate in a more neutral sense in many cases. Hence that line from Elrond, as you may recall from the books or the movies. We all share this one doom, by which he means this one fate of needing to deal with the ring. You feel a bite in your leg and now feel weaker. That's not good. Defeated a rattlesnake. Okay, so we defeated the rattlesnake, but it managed to poison us. Or inject its venom in us, I suppose, to be more accurate. And we're having a little bit of trouble now finding the next stairway down. I'm going to do some more searching. If this takes too long, then of course I will allow our character to end right here. A zombie. That is an enemy I have not faced before. Oh, by the way, you might be curious about the bow and arrow that we're carrying. If you want to use a bow and arrow, you have to hit W to wield the bow, and then you'll use lowercase t, the throw command, and select an arrow to throw. That might seem silly, but of course the throw command makes more sense for the shuriken and other typical throwing weapons, but it's also used for shooting arrows when you have a bow equipped. So what the hey, we might as well experiment with that a little bit. We have the mace equipped right now. The bow is letter D, so we're now wielding the bow. We do also have shuriken that we can throw, if desired. I don't think you need to wield the shuriken to be able to throw it. Okay, come on, there's got to be some more secret doors somewhere. Now, later roguelikes, of course, develop even more complexity. Oh, a snake. So this game can be extremely fun, but if it does start to get tedious after a while, you can look forward to trying other roguelikes that offer even more. Let's see what this is. Hold on. A centaur. Ooh, we were killed by a centaur. Rest in peace, Drake. 840 gold, killed by a centaur in the year 2025. There is our gravestone. And there it shows the top 10 scores. Currently it only has one entry, the score we just got. And it, so if you've played it a bunch of times, you'll always have the top 10 scores there detailing how much gold you acquired and how that character's playthrough ended. Either quitting, which means like you run out of the dungeon basically, or getting killed. So we made it to level 7, faced a centaur, and that was the end of this brave fighter named Drake. Now, if we look here, sure enough, our old save file is gone. Now, I should say that if you hit the O key, you get some options, including an option for changing the name. It defaults to your Linux username, assuming you're playing this in a Linux environment, but you can change that here. You can also change certain other options, such as terse output, flush type ahead during battle. Show position only at the end of a run. We call that jump. Show the lamp illuminated floor. Yes, that defaults to true. That's why we saw the little periods for the floor tiles. Follow turnings and passageways. Now, when it talks about following turnings and passageways, and earlier when it talked about showing position only at the end of a run, running is something that I have not been in the habit of doing, but there is a way of sort of having auto movement in a direction, and so that's what they're referring to. And during those auto movements, you can set this option to have it follow turnings and passageways if you wish. Print out tombstone when killed, yes. Inventory style, name. Now this fruit option that defaults to slime mold for some silly reason, I don't know exactly what this refers to. I think it might be like a food item that sometimes appears in the dungeon. I'm not 100% clear on that. Anyway, and then you can also change the default save file if you wish. A couple other things to point out. The goal of this game, the Amulet of Yendor, the name Yendor is Rodney backwards, but I'm not sure why the name Rodney was significant. Maybe they just had a friend or professor named Rodney at the time. I do not know. I wasn't able to find that information when I did a cursory search earlier, but I'm sure it's out there somewhere. And so if you know, please let me know in the comments why the name Yendor based on Rodney. I also saw in that PDF file a guide to the Dungeons of Doom that I referenced earlier. There's a funny footnote at the end about the wizard of the dungeon being named Wally the Wonder Badger, something like that. And I don't know where that silly name came from either, so if you have any insight, please let me know. And here we see a much earlier death. As I discussed earlier, it can be easy to die very early in this game, so we only acquired 35 gold this time, killed by a hobgoblin. There we have our 2 highest scores so far. Now, I think that's probably just about enough to give you a taste of what Rogue is all about. So what do you think of this game? And also, thank you for watching. You can find all of our links at this Linktree URL. Go to Linktree with a dot before the E's /GoldenDrake, and please do like the video, subscribe, and if you can, support us through my Patreon, patreon.com/thedrake. Many thanks to all of our current supporters, Lucy, Lyle, and Aina the Kajit. And with your help, we are hard at work at some humble indie games that are still in somewhat early stages, so we're a little bit shy about showing off our first major RPG that we hope to have finished in the relatively near future. In the nearer term, we will be releasing a new version of our Golden Drake Linux installer, so you can look forward to that. It will be much improved, and we hope that will be useful to anyone out there who wants to install a new Arch Linux environment that is configured specifically for gaming and game development. Of course, it's excellent for all kinds of other computing purposes too. Anyway, we hope you'll also look forward to seeing additional videos like this one, showcasing some interesting games of the past, especially free and open source games. In any case, thanks again for watching. Leave your thoughts down below about the game Rogue and roguelikes in general. We look forward to seeing you again next time.